Okay, so good morning. I think yesterday I said good afternoon. I watched my video yesterday. It's like, what? Why would I say good afternoon? Good morning. So we're just going to continue on with the Pythagorean theorem. We're on page 6 and starting on with example number 3. Okay? So what we're going to do here is that we're going to try to solve for this x, right? So just kind of to recap what we said yesterday, we could determine the unknown length of the triangle using a Pythagorean theorem. And we wrote down the formula, a squared plus b squared equals to c squared. And some of you yesterday said you've seen that formula before. That's a Pythagorean theorem formula. The c is the hypotenuse, and the a and the b are the two. Just to go back here because I know some people weren't here yesterday. Hypotenuse is across the 90-degree angle, and it is the longest side. Okay, so that's a pretty special. It's the longest side. The A and the B are the two short sides. Okay, so A squared plus B squared equals to C squared. Now looking at this triangle in here, let's first identify which one is the hypotenuse. So this corner here where the square box there, that indicates that this angle there is a 90-degree angle. And right across from that angle, right across where it opens up to, is the hypotenuse. Now if that's the hypotenuse, that's the C value. Okay, so the C value. The x and the 8, those are the two short sides. So we're going to call this our A value, and then this is the B. Okay, so A squared plus B squared equals to C squared. So A squared, what do we replace the A by? We're going to replace it with the x. That's a number that we're trying to figure out. So x, and then we're trying to square that. So using the formula, a x squared plus b. So what do I replace the b? We're going to replace it with 8. So 8 squared equals c squared, that's going to be the 10, so 10 squared. So here we're going to solve for x, figure out that x value. So figure out that x value. So x squared, we can't figure that out right now, so we'll just put x squared plus 8 squared. What does 8 squared equal to? 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64, equals to 10 squared. 10 squared is 100. Okay, so 10 squared is 100. We're trying to solve for x, so how do we get the x alone, solving for it? Okay, x squared plus 64. How do we do that? Well, let's get rid of the plus 64. That's going to be minus 64 on each side, minus 64 on each side. So that cancels. So now we're left with x squared equals to 100 minus 64, that's, somebody already said 36, I heard. 36. Yeah. Okay. Finally, the last step is to get rid of the squaring. The square, we're gonna take the, to do that, we're gonna take the square root of both sides. So x is equals to square root of 36 is 6. So that's our number. So x is equals to 6. Oh, I forgot something. I forgot the unit. So x is equals to 6, and that's 6 here, and that's in feet. So 6 feet. 6 feet. Okay? Is that good? Any questions there? You okay? Is it okay if we go to the next question? Everyone's pretty much been copying that one? Okay. So this one here, solve for x. Solve for x. So this is a right angle triangle. It's just upside down. Okay. This is the 90-degree angle. So if this is the 90-degree angle right there, then right across from the 90-degree angle, that's the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. Okay. Since that's a hypotenuse, that's a C value. C. And then the x and the 3.5, that would be our A and the B. Okay. Let's first start off with the formula. A squared plus B squared equals to C squared. Okay. What do I replace the x? Oh, oops. What do I replace the A? X squared plus, what do I replace the B? 3.5. Okay, so 3.5 squared, exponent 2, excuse me, equals, and then I have to replace the C with 7.2. 7.2 exponent 2. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. So what are we going to do next? Well, we can't figure out this x to the exponent 2, so we'll just leave it as x squared. Oh my goodness. Okay. So x squared plus, let's go 3.5 squared. Excuse me, equals 7.2 squared, 7.2 exponent 2, 51.84. So we're going to slowly isolate the x. Right? Slowly isolate the x. What are we going to do? We have to get rid of this plus 12.25. So take away. So take away 12.25. And if I do that on this side of the equation, the left side, I have to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. So that cancels. Those two, positive 12.25 minus 12.25, they cancel each other out. We're left with x squared equals 51.84 minus 12.25. So 39.59. And then the last, but not the last step would be taking the square root. Okay. Square root. I'm going to take the square root of that. .29. Okay, so that's telling us that this is 6.29 and we have to put the unit. Yeah, thank you. Centimeters, and that's our final answer. Is that okay? So yesterday we were focusing on solving for the hypotenuse. Example 3 and example 4 today, we're solving for the one of the short sides. Okay. Is everyone done copying that piece? Is it okay if we go to the next piece? Now it becomes like a story problem. A car is driving on a steep road. Determine the length of the road. Okay, well, it's not much of a story. That's what it is. So we're looking for this one. Okay. Here's my 90-degree angle. So right across the 90-degree angle is the hypotenuse. And since that's the hypotenuse, that's the C value. These two are the A and the B. You can mix them up. You can say that this is A and this is B. Will be the same thing. Okay. So let's go ahead and try this one. So A squared plus B squared equals to C squared. So A, we're going to replace that with 7.2 squared plus B, we're going to replace by 19.57 and squared equals the C, we're going to replace with the X. Oh, X squared. Okay. Now these ones we can calculate. 7.2 exponent 2 squared. 51.84 plus 19.57 squared, or exponent 2. It's going to be 382.9849 equals, okay, so I got that already on my screen, so I can just go plus 51.84, 434.8249 equals to X squared. So we didn't have to do any subtraction here. It's pretty, we just add them up. And then the last thing we gotta do is take the square root. So we're left with the x square root. Okay, that's so many numbers to type, so I'm just gonna go square root of the answer because our calculator has that capability, right? 20.85, and that's in meters. Is that okay? How's that one going? Is that okay? Yeah? Any questions? Ruben, are you okay? Yeah, you're okay? Okay. Any questions? You good? Okay, let's take a look at example 6 if there's no question. Okay. A wheelchair ramp is being built for an entrance to a restaurant, as shown below. Determine the horizontal length of the ramp. Okay. Now we've seen something like this before in real life, right? Like a ramp, right? So this is the horizontal. We want to know how long the ramp is gonna, horizontal length of the ramp. Okay. So if this is the 90 degrees, right across the 90 degrees, that's the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the C value, so C. And then the X and the 2.6, that would be the A and the B. Thank you. Do you want to give that one a try on your own and then see? You can give it a try on your own, and then I'll work through it too. Look up if you need some guidance as I walk through it too. Oh, you beat me. I got 27.68. Is that okay?
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
rounded off because of
Oh,
the
yeah.
second half.
Yeah.
After it's higher.
Yeah, this is what I got. I got 27.678. So rounding it off to 2 decimal places, I'll look at the third number.
Yes.
Enough to round it up to 68. And this time I remember to put the unit. Okay. Good. How do you feel about that? You okay? Yes?